So the first method we're going to show you guys today is the traditional half log or split log method. So it's a log that's cut lengthways and it's secured to wood spacers. This is just a 6x6 chunk of tamarack, and it's secured in place with a piece of rebar on the upper and lower end of the log. So here we got about a 3 or 4 foot piece of rebar. We're going to put through the rebar through the wood spacers, and that's going to anchor it to the stream bed bottom. So now we got the materials together. We have the rebar through the half log into the wood spacers. Now we're going to talk about the placement of the log. So the placement of the log should occur on either side of the thalweg, whether it's on the outside bend of the turn or the inside bend of the turn, just so that it avoids the full brunt of the force of the current. And also the orientation of the log should be slightly out of line with the direction of the flow, just to facilitate flushing underneath the log and reduce the likelihood of excessive sediment and buildup underneath the log.
Tools you'll need to install a half log include an auger to drill the holes, a sledgehammer to pound the rebar, and a pipe to bend the rebar over at the end.
So once that rebar is pounded down, and that only about 10 or 15 centimeters of that rebar is protruding, you take a piece of pipe and you bend the rebar so it's pointing downstream.
Rebar should be used with caution, as it can pose safety hazards later in time. On a final note, this area is important spawning habitat for brook trout on the West River. This structure will help protect vulnerable fish that are spawning this fall.
So a different style of cover log we're going to show you now is the full log method. It utilizes a full log, and it can be secured over a deep pool or run using a variety of different methods. So this technique we'll show you uses the bank being keyed out, a triangle punch hole through the log, and we'll use a wooden stake to secure it into the bank. So the benefit of this log is that it utilizes all natural components. So here we have a triangle punched through the log using the chainsaw, and a smaller stake that was cut and is going to be inserted through the triangle and driven in to anchor this log into the keyhole that we made into the bank. So once you get the log situated into the keyhole that you made into the bank, you can take a sledgehammer and pound that stake in to anchor this log into place. And once you're happy with how far that stake is pounded in and it seems secured, you can begin to take the soil that you dug out while keying into the bank and then pack it and fill it back into the hole. Once you get most of the soil packed and filled back in, you can gather some local rocks and start putting those in and around and even underneath the log, just to kind of act as that final anchor and to kind of help stabilize the bank. So when you're picking a location for a full-length cover log, typically it's over a deep pool situated in what you'd call the feeding area for trout. So our last style of log we're going to show you today is still a full log cover structure. Still has a root wad with its roots still attached. There's some limbs on this log to kind of help it prop it up off the bottom, similar to the half log or split log we showed you earlier with using the spacers. This is using more natural features like the root wad and the limbs I mentioned. Once you make your loop, you take your free end, wrap it around the log, pull it in nice and tight, and we pick this location because there's some nice roots to tie to. They act as a nice solid anchor point. You just tie a few knots to anchor this in place here. So one benefit of using rope to secure a cover structure is that it's quick, it's easy, it's cost effective, and whenever you're carrying out your annual stream maintenance, if you come across a blockage, you can reposition that full log in a manner that's kind of alongside the bank. And in this situation, We put this kind of root wad in an area that's nearby some spawning beds we made for Atlantic salmon. So in a month or so, this root wad here might actually be providing some cover for a spawning Atlantic salmon.
Get creative with combining different methods in order to secure the structures. Every site is different and may require getting creative. Installing cover structures is a great way to offset the removal of large woody debris when conducting stream restoration activities.